Welcome to another episode of the Solo Scaled podcast. I'm your host Ken Freire, and today I'm here with Jon Lester, who's going to be walking us through his journey on how he's grown his business. Jon, welcome to the podcast, man.
Hey, Ken, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here and get a chance just to share what's been going on and my journey.
Yeah. Well, Jon, you and I were talking right before the show about how there's so many pushy, manipulative tactics out there, and we're trying to do it differently. We're trying to figure out how can we grow our businesses in a authentic, real way.
Mm.
And you've been doing that, and you've been in the educational space, the health and wellness space, for quite some time now. And today, you're going to share your story of how you're growing your business. So, before you talk about your actual business, walk us through what got you started in the business in the first place?
Okay, so that's a great question. And as you said, I was an educator by trade. Like I went to college, I went for education, and I did that for about 13 years in physical health education, high school level. Great time, absolutely loved it. But there came a point in the last about 3 years ago where and for some people out there, like when you feel something on the inside, when you feel like somebody's tugging at you, especially like, for me, it was like the Lord was tugging on my heart with something. And for a while, I battled with it. I was like, I'm not really sure what he's getting at here. I'm not really sure what this direction is. But the more that I talked to people, both in my church, at my school, my close friends and family, it became really apparent that season of life was changing. It became very apparent that I was being called in another direction from education and didn't really know what that looked like. But over time, just like I said, having those discussions, it became pretty apparent that I'm a really good coach. That's what I do. I coach kids all day long in the classroom. I coach after school in different sports. I do this, I do that. It's what I love doing. It's really a talent and a gift I have. And they were like, well, you should really pursue that in some way, shape, or form. And so, I basically sought out a couple mentors, started doing some research, and found what I thought would be a really good avenue, a really good market and a niche and a passion of mine, and put together what I call the Relentless Pursuit 247. And that's now my business. It's my performance coaching, helping men really step into the leadership role that God's called them to be. And I absolutely love every second of it. So that's kind of how I got there. It was very much a leap of faith, very much outside my comfort zone. But ultimately, if you're feeling called to do something, then you should pursue it. You should be obedient on that.
Yeah. Okay. So let's do a little bit of deep dive because I think there's a lot of people who are listening to this who are like, I feel that discontentment. I know I should be doing something else or pivoting,
Mhm.
but they're not. And you said like you're not comfortable with the leap of faith. You're like, I just did it. What was like the conviction or the thing that finally kind of pushed you over the edge that you're like, all right, I got to do this?
That's a great question. What was the thing that really pushed me over the edge? I think it was my attitude coming home from work every day. It was something that my bride picked up on. I used to in my early parts of my career as an educator would come home, I'd be excited, full of energy, talking about my day, loving what I do. And she could tell that the passion and the fire was kind of gone. The last couple of years in particular, that I would come home and not necessarily that I would complain or this or that, but I would kind of grumble. And she was just like, do you really like what you do anymore? And if I got truly honest with myself, it was no. I went together with a paycheck. It was stable income for the family, put food on the table. But did I really love what I was doing anymore? Not really. And, she's like, well, you should really look to do something that you love. And it was like in that moment, like conviction, like, okay, I knew I've had this stir going on. This is like conviction saying, okay, I need to pursue it. I need to actually just go do it. I may not know what it looks like. I may not know exactly what the end result will be, but this is it. Like, I need to make this shift. I need to make this change.
Now, and did you make that change right away? Like in the sense
No,
of, hey, I quit my job and went full
no.
time, or was it more like, hey, let me do a side hustle? Like, what was your
Yeah,
logic behind that?
I wish I could, but I also know that with a family with two kids to feed,
Yeah.
throwing away a teaching salary with benefits that was very stable and predictable income for something that is entrepreneurial, that definitely has a lot more variables, not the case, right? So it was more of I'm going to follow this calling. It's going to start as a side hustle, and I'm going to try to basically slowly build over time to the point where I can walk away and this can become my full time thing.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the best ways to do it, right? Because you have income, you're not walking in a scarcity mindset or desperation. Like, how many times have you seen people do stuff out of desperation because they're like, I just got to feed my family the next paycheck? And it's like you would never do that if you were in an abundance mindset, or you're like, I'm
Hmm.
safe, I'm secure in my finances.
Hmm.
So I appreciate that. That's the route you took. Um, Walk us through when you started your business. What was the thing that like really started helping you grow? Where you're like, I think I want to do this. Like I'm my business. I like the side hustle.
Mm. I think it was starting to put myself out there a little bit. It was starting to look at exactly what I could offer other people. I got to meet with a lot of close friends of mine, a lot of close brothers in Christ, talking to them about just what potentially could help them, essentially. Like, how can I serve them? It was starting to ask questions of how can I serve you? What are some things you're looking at? How are you looking to become a better leader? It was starting to ask just a lot of questions and finding out that there was a lot of people with a lot of needs. And I felt like there were some things that maybe I could help with. So, that gave me a little bit of confidence that I was, and like confirmation that I was moving in the right direction. It wasn't like I was asking these things, and everybody was going, "What are you talking about?" Like, that seems out of, no, just no. It was a lot of confirmations along the way, little things that just were like telling me, okay, I'm moving in the right direction.
Yeah. What was you know, was there any one of those little like small moments that you were like, all right, I'm going all in. This is exactly what I want to do. Uh,
Hmm.
that happened.
Yeah, it was actually one guy that I met through social media on Facebook. He's a guy from Texas. He was a guy that came up on my feed as looking for some help just getting in shape. He had actually been hit by a truck while riding his bicycle and broke
Mm.
his leg in multiple places. And he was, laid up for like 4 or 5 months. He put on like 40 pounds. It was affecting all areas of his life. And you could tell it was just kind of like a cry for help. And I just reached out one day. I was just like, hey, man, like, let's chat. Let's just see how I can help in any way, shape, or form. And that was about it. That was early on. And, we put some things in place. We talked a lot about just what he wanted to do. He was essentially like my first client, right? It's that first client into the business. But he's now like one of my close friends. Apart from the coaching thing, he became a really close friend. We still talk very often all the time. But we're able to help him get to a spot physically where now he's best shape he's been in a while. He sent me pictures of him lifting weights the other day, benching a good number he hasn't done since like high school. His marriage improved in a lot of different ways because of the confidence and the energy that he brought now from that experience and from like all of his progressions. It was, it seems small, but it's like just working with him and seeing what coaching can do for people, that I was like, I'm all in. Like, if this is the kind of satisfaction that it brings, like, it doesn't even matter the fact that I didn't even charge him for this, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like I was just getting my feet wet. I wanted to see what this would look like. It's not about the money. It was about truly helping and serving people. And the feelings that it gave me, I was like, okay, if I can do this now for a living, like for a career, I'm all in.
Yeah. That feeling is so awesome when you're like, I've made a genuine impact in someone's life.
Hmm.
And it's not even just their life. It's like now the side effects is their family is is alive more. They're thriving more. Their relationship. You're like,
Hmm.
oh, I got to be a part of that. Thank you, God. I appreciate that.
Exactly.
So fast forward to today. What's your business look like, and what's kind of been the biggest lever for continued growth?
That's a great question. So, fast forward to today, we have tried a few different things in the business as far as to grow the business. Um, One of the things early on was those pushy sales tactics, right? I did make a mistake early on in my career of, I wouldn't say it was a mistake, it was a learning lesson, right? I think it's only a mistake if you don't learn something.
Yeah.
And I signed up with a mentor coach who was, you know, talking all the talk about helping you grow, this and that, but it was very much a, we're going to be super persistent. We're going to be super pushy. It's a numbers game. Just talk to them over and over, and eventually they'll cave. And I'm like, that's not really the message I want to be sending.
Yeah.
Great that it might work for you, and that's cool, but that's not the way I want to run my business. And so, fast forward to today, it's like you talked about in the beginning. It's, we're operating from a point of authenticity. It's operating from a point of I'm not here to push you. I'm here to find out if this is, first of all, is a good fit for both parties. And two, how can I truly serve you? What are some things you're going for here? What are some things that we can truly help with? And if it's great, cool, it's going to work, it works. And if it doesn't, I'm not going to push you on it, right? It's like, because you got to be buying into it. So that was one like learning thing that I had to do early on. But fast forward to today, probably the biggest lever I've been finding, and that's just from having a lot of conversations with a lot of my clients and a lot of other people, particularly men, because that's who I work with most of the time, is that guys really want community.
Hmm.
Guys really want community, but they're scared to ask for it. Right. I think as men, sometimes we are so much into this lone wolf mentality, this idea that we have to do things on our own, and asking for help is like a bad thing. Like it diminishes our value as a man by asking for help. But in reality, they crave community because so many of us don't have those connections. They don't have that like brotherhood. They don't have that accountability. And that's what I've been finding. So a lot of what we do now in our business is like the basis of it is a brotherhood. The basis of it is a community where guys can come together, lean on each other. And then, yes, we have some other coaching stuff that goes on too, but it starts at that level of brotherhood because it builds trust, it builds connections, it builds networks, and guys thrive in it, right? Once you start seeing guys open up about certain things, like I had a guy the other day talk about, because I challenged him to put his phone away after 9 o'clock at night because he was realizing that it was being a time suck in his life and it was taking away from his family time. And I was like, for a week, just put it away. And so he did. And not only did he do that, he came back and he told me he canceled his TV subscription. I'm like, what did you do? He's like, no, seriously. He's like, I canceled it because I went from the phone to the TV.
Hmm.
And he's like, I want to show up better for my family. I want to be there at night. I want to be there and actually be present, not just physically, but like emotionally. He's like, I'm not saying it's going to be gone forever, but I felt convicted that I needed to get rid of it in the moment. And I'm already seeing differences. My wife is noticing my attention for them. My kids are noticing, oh, daddy's here. He wants to do this and that. And I'm like, how powerful is that? But it's because they've been in this community and they feel comfortable to be vulnerable, right? And that's not something you always get. So the lever has been community, and
Yeah.
that's been something that we're going to continue to grow, and it's been great.
Yeah. I think about, um, from our Christian faith, right? We have a triune God. There's
Hmm.
natural born community, and there's so many times we think that we're supposed to just be that lone ranger, like you talked about, but we're actually designed for community. We're designed
We
to
are.
have people around us, really tight, close knit friends that we can live life together with. And in some ways, that's what you're providing with these guys. Like, hey, I have a space where I can share my thoughts, I can share where I'm at, and they're
Hmm.
being challenged and encouraged.
Right.
So it's not like, hey, I'm just going to stay here where you're at. You're like, no, no, I'm going to level you up, which is pretty huge. And obviously, performance coaching, that's what you're doing. Uh,
Exactly.
what do you, sorry, go on. You were going to
No, go
add.
ahead. No, you go ahead because you had a question on your head. So.
Well, I was just going to say, as you're growing the community, growing your business,
Mhm.
what's kind of been the hard part or maybe a challenge that you're facing right now that you're trying to overcome?
uh, the hard part. I'm trying to think. Hard part right now. Um, a hard part has been finding the balance because we have like our community's free. We have a free community. It's great. That's where they come in, they get their things. Uh, Finding the balance between giving insane value, making those connections, having that community at the free level, but then leveraging that also into like the coaching world, figuring out a balance of how much coaching to give away necessarily for free
Uh,
before saying like, hey, this is something that really we should work on one and transitioning them over to that. But it's really about just giving them insane value and building that trust and building the fact that, you are a subject matter expert in that area. And it's like, if you build that trust, it's like they know you're coming at them from a place of servitude, of love, not of, hey, I just want to make money off you. Because that's not what it's about at the end of the day. To me, it's like what you said, genuine impact in people's lives. And for me, it's all about how can I bring value to this interaction, to this conversation every time we meet. I hope that they leave our interaction a little bit better than they were before. So definitely the challenge, and it still continues to be a little bit of like how much exactly. And I don't think there's written rule. It's like you could read Hermazi all
Fingers
day long,
crossed.
you could read Myron Golden, you can read all these things, but at the end of the day, it's figuring out what works for you in your business. So
Yeah.
it's still, I think, a little bit of trial and error what we're doing, but people are engaging, which to me is like one of the biggest factors of them getting a lot out of it is that they're engaging, they're showing up, they're doing the things, and hopefully that'll transition as we transition a little
Yeah.
bit.
Where can people find this free community at?
So we a few months ago actually relocated from Facebook over to School. So we're actually on the School platform, which has been tremendous. I found that School has a lot more features and ways for guys to connect and resources that we're able to provide. Like we can offer courses, we can offer calls straight on the page, not necessarily having to go to Zoom. It's really good. So School's been great. That's where we're at right now.
Okay. And then for those of you who are not familiar with School, that's SKOOL
Yes.
dot
Yes.
com. But
Good point.
uh, what's the name of the school group so that we could put it in the show notes?
Okay. It is Relentless Pursuit 247.
Okay.
Yeah, just right
Relentless,
after the business name.
Relentless Pursuit 247. You can find it in the School
Yes.
platform. That's great. I love School. There's a lot of great communities that I'm part of. Now I'm going to go check it out, man. I'll be like, all right, let's see it. But so your challenge is going from like how much value to coaching and that kind
hmm
of process. Um, have you found something that you're like so far that you like that you're like this kind of is working for you,
hmm
or what and what's that process?
So the free community has been great, but the one thing that we've been finding to help try to kind of like bridge guys over is we've
Yeah.
been running little mini challenges. So we call them actually, so right now we're in the middle of one. It's called a 21-day no quit challenge. And
Right.
it's designed to be a little bit more of a little bit more like a mastermind idea where they come in and the idea is for 21 days, they're going to get 21 leadership principle teachings from myself that I'm going to do, like quick little video drops every day, 6 to 10 minutes on a different leadership principle. There's daily workouts, there's daily nutrition stuff. It's really about helping guys develop consistency and stackable small habits that really help build discipline. Because that's really what's lacking a lot of times is like just a lack of consistency and accountability. They start something, fall off, start something, fall off, their confidence goes down. So it's like these are designed to help them get that confidence, get that discipline in 3 short weeks. And usually like right now, the first few we've run free. Just come in, get the value, get these things. And then on the back end, being like, okay, if this works for you and you want to take it further, now we have these other options that you can do. Because like the workouts are, yes, I have different level, like beginner, intermediate, advanced, but it's still not like tailored to them. So it's kind of like a nice bridge where I can sprinkle in some things throughout where it's like, hey, if you want to take this a little bit further, I have this coaching. This is what I do with guys, but don't feel like you have to type of deal. It's just going to be there. Um, the first challenge we ever ran, it was like 12 people. The next time it was 31. So it was like, it's definitely getting some traction and people really love it. Guys love challenges. They
Oh
do.
yeah.
Guys love challenges. Piece of cake, right? And feeling like they're a part of something. So we have weekly calls where people get to share some wins, daily accountability stuff. I mean, it's a lot of fun, and the
Yeah.
guys have a blast. But it's been a nice bridge towards that more like coaching style of things that are a little bit more beyond just like the community.
Nice, man. And I've always enjoyed jumping into a challenge and just being like, okay, let's just see what I do for the next 21 days. My business partner and I, we just did a 30-day book challenge. So from podcast to book.
Mm,
So we're
okay.
like, because a lot of people struggle. They were like, I want to write a book. They don't know how to. Um, and we were told this was a complete experiment, man. So it was like, oh, will this work? We said, let's get on our podcast. And each day is a chapter of the podcast of the book. So we had like the outline, and him and I are riffing,
Okay.
and then we used AI to help assist. Now, here's a big thing: was that like it didn't write it for us; it was all of our ideas and thoughts. We already had the outline, but it assisted us. And man, the chapters turned out pretty darn well. We were kind
That's
of
awesome.
surprised. We are like, oh, this actually worked. And now the book is going to come out here in mid December, end of December.
Oh, that's
Um,
exciting.
yeah, and because we were just testing it, but it was like a challenge. Now, here's the fun part. The reason why I bring it up: we've been announcing it in public in LinkedIn. That's where we're on a lot.
Mhm.
And on LinkedIn, because we were sharing it, there's other people who are like, "Hey, I'm going to try this challenge. I'm going to do podcast to book too," and they're doing it now. And we're like, "Go, you can do it." They're like, "I found a name. I did it." Like, and it's just cool to see what happens when
Mm,
you put people in a challenge, how they rise
yes,
to the occasion.
exactly. Exactly. You mentioned that rising up. I mean, we have guys that are pushing themselves in ways they hadn't done before. And it's like, it's great to see. And they're excited about it, and they should be. It's
Yeah.
like we celebrate that.
Yeah. John, for you, man, as we look at our conversation and start to wrap up, there are people who are listening to this. They've been growing their business and they've been struggling. They're like, man, I'm not getting as many clients. It's been really hard. And they might have even not had, like, this is their full time thing now, right? Like,
Mhm.
what's a good word of encouragement for them to just help them through this process?
The best advice I can give, and it's something that was given to me early on when, I'll be honest, like the first time. So when I first launched my business a few years ago, after a couple months, I think I went into it with the wrong mindset of like, I'm going to be instantaneous successful, right? I'm going to be an overnight success. I'm going to go from John to Eric Thomas hip hop preacher overnight. That's That wasn't the case. And I always have super high expectations for myself. So it was weird for me to like jump all in on something and not see the immediate success.
Yeah.
And the first couple months in, it's like, I just want to throw in the towel. I was like, oh, maybe this isn't for me. I went in, I tried it, this and that. And I was talking to a friend who had been in the entrepreneurial space for many, many, many years, kind of like a mentor. And the best advice they gave me was, John, I didn't start feeling like I even got off the ground until year 4. And I was like, I don't want to wait 4 years. Like, well, it may not take that long. But what I'm saying, that what they tried to tell me was, if it's something you truly have been called to, if it's something that you truly have a passion for, then it'll work out in the end. But you got to continue just to show up and work. Like, all great things are not overnight success. If you want something that's going to make massive impact and have massive change, it's a long game you're going to play. And honestly, you're going to love every second of it because you're going to be doing things you love to do. So if you truly feel called to this, just show up every day. Just show up every day and ask God, how can I move this thing 1 inch, 1 nanometer further today than I did yesterday? Because if you do that, and I know, like, if you haven't read Atomic Habits or The Compound Effect, I highly recommend both those books because they're both about small, almost very insignificant things that you can do each and every day that compounded create massive change. Massive change. But it starts at those little things. It's like you don't have to go 0 to 60 because usually those big grand sweeping things you do anyway are not sustainable. What is sustainable is that one step in front of the other every single day. So for myself, it's like, yes, early on, you don't see the initial income that you want to see or whatever, like hundreds of clients pouring in. But it's also, I have this person that uses this analogy all the time. When a plane is taking off, it uses most of its energy in the very initial launch phase, like when it's taking off, when it's on the runway, it's getting that initial traction and that initial momentum going because that's just where it needs to get in order to get up into the air. They're like, that's how it is in your business. It's like the most work is going to be in the beginning because you need to get that momentum going. And the only way to get momentum, first of all, is like you can create momentum, but then if you want to keep it, you got to stay in the game. And I'm like, I can't, try something for a couple weeks, back off for a couple months, try for a couple weeks, back off a couple months. It was like, you got to keep it moving forward, whatever way to. So if you've truly been called to it, if you truly feel like God is like put it on your heart to do it, wake up every day and say, thank you, God, for this calling. Help me move it forward today in some way, shape, or form, whatever it looks like. And it may not be on the income side. A lot of times it isn't, but every great interaction you have with somebody, every great conversation you have where you feel like I left that person off in a better place than they were, there's victories in all of that. Like that's the stuff that keeps bringing me back every single day is like, who can I help and who can I serve today?
And it sounds like you are really good at reminding yourself. I think is it Benjamin Hardy who talks about remember the gain, not the gap,
Yeah. The gain, the
right?
gap.
And the gain gap, and you're just like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
what have I done? Who have I helped? Who have I accomplished? And in small things, it's not like, oh my gosh, this person lost 50 pounds in one day.
Yeah.
That's not possible. But like, uh, but it's all the little wins. Like, hey, they did 10 push-ups today. Congratulations. Or I did 10 push-ups today. Congratulations. Like, cool. All right. Let's see if we could do 11 tomorrow. If we could do 12
Mm-hmm.
the next day. You're like, the atomic habits is such a big deal.
Yes, it is. And it's like the other thing I want to recommend to people too is like what you said, the gap and the gain.
Yeah.
Our natural tendency is to look at the gaps, is to look at where we fell short, is to look at where we could have done things differently instead of looking at what progress have I made. Too busy, we're looking up at the mountain, see how far we still have to go, that we haven't turned around to look back and see how far we've gone up the mountain. And it's
Uh,
like the more people can turn around and see that, they go, oh, I am getting there.
Oh
I am
man,
getting there.
I'm
I'm a big hiker. Sorry, I like
yeah.
hiking analogies.
No, no, I love hiking too, and I'm a huge victim of that too, man. Where I'm like, all right, I've climbed a lot in the Rockies, and I'm like, let's go, and I'm like, let's just keep going fast, fast, faster, faster. I'm like, all right, we're at the top of the hill, cool, but like, there's so much beautiful scenery that I missed because I was just trying to get there. So like, enjoying the process is huge,
Mm,
even in the entrepreneurial route. And I know because I've been there, you're there, right? Like we've both been there, where it's just like, I need to make money because I need to provide for my family. So sometimes enjoying the process can be a little hard. But the more you can enjoy the process, the better
hmm.
off you're going to be.
Exactly.
Um, John, as we wrap up our time together, I've been doing this with all of our guests. I'm creating an expert-led business trend report, and there's 5 questions that I ask everybody, rapid-fire questions that I want you to answer, and we'll just see where it goes.
Okay,
I'm promising myself not to try to make commentary. Okay, so
let's do it.
question number one is this: what's something in your business you're experimenting with right now?
We are experimenting with different levels of coaching in our business. So one-to-one group coaching, things like that, looking at different levels to get guys in on different pricing tiers and different like budgets all across the board.
Sweet. So you're trying to be accessible to everybody. Question number two: what part of your business feels the most in flux, or like you don't have solidified right now these days? Thinking like marketing, sales, program operations. Which one's not like
Mm,
solidified?
Probably our advertising. Our advertising is still very new. We haven't done much in the advertising realm, particularly in paid ads, but it's something that I think we're going to venture into a little bit more.
Okay.
So it's learning some skills related to that.
All right. Sweet. What's a goal you're building toward this year that you're really excited about?
Uh, One goal is to impact 100 men in 2026.
Okay. I love it.
Work with 100 men between my business partner and I.
That's a great goal, man. Where do you see the industry shifting? And by industry, I mean the expert led industry shifting, and how are you preparing for it?
I'm going to talk related to coaching, and I think one of the things people are I think it's shifting in authenticity. Um, because I think a lot of times we see a lot of that pushy sales, and I think it's run its course for the most part. And I think people are realizing that we want down to earth, raw, authentic people, and we're willing to just be that in itself to be authentic. And I think you're going to see a massive pushback in that direction.
All right, last question. What do you want to pass on to your kids when they grow up?
I want to pass on to them. Really, it's a if God puts something on your heart, pursue it, even if it you can't see down the road. Like if you can't see them, like you may not be able to see the map, but you know the map maker, and being willing to just trudge forward, even if it's something that's out of your comfort zone, something like that. Just if it's something God puts on your heart, pursue it, no matter what anybody else tells you about it, how crazy it might be. Pursue it. Be obedient.
John, that's a good word, man. And we're going to end it right there. I'm not going to add to it, man, but you're right. You're 100% right. John, for those who might be interested in engaging with you, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Some of the best ways I'm on Facebook. That's probably my go-to social media platform. But I'm also, like I said, on that school platform. I got a YouTube channel. Any of those you can go to, but Facebook's probably the best to find me there. Just type in Jon Lester. I'll be the crazy guy either with a frozen beard from running outside in negative 10-degree weather like this morning, or I might be doing running with my son in a Santa Claus outfit like we did a couple days ago. That'll be me. Somehow, shape, or form, I'm probably doing something involving activity and maybe not looking the best. We'll see.
That's awesome, man. Well, John, I love that. I have one of my mentors did the same thing in Minnesota. He would run in the winter all the time and send me pictures. And I'm like, yeah, bless your heart.
I'm at this point. I don't know if I'm insane or just determined and disciplined. I don't know. At this point, I don't know. I think my brain's frozen.
We'll go with the latter. John, thank you so much for this episode. Thank you so much for just being obedient and helping these men. I mean, man, we need so much more godly men like yourself who are helping other men reach their potential, living out their leadership giftings,
Mm,
like walking in what I believe God has called us men to be, is leaders in the home, leaders in society, and you're doing
yeah.
that, man. So thank you, thank you, thank you for doing that.
Thank you for letting me be on here, Ken. It was it's a great conversation. So much good.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those of you who are listening, man, always remember you may be running your business by yourself, but with solo scaled, you're never alone. Hope you guys have a great day.